Dear children, welcome to the next session of Geography. Today we are going to start with Chapter 4 Agriculture. We had Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 also, naming Natural Vegetation and Wildlife and Water. These two chapters will be tested through the projects. So as we join, we will be doing those chapters. Now we will start with the Chapter 4. The portion for this chapter will be there for our board exams. So let us begin with the agriculture. Agriculture is an age-old practice in India. It is also the primary activity of India. Primary activity in the sense that more than 60% of India's population is engaged in agriculture. Moreover, this is the main activity by which our economy is getting fed. Hence, agriculture is an important resource for our country. Even as a human being, agriculture is an important resource because it gives us the main resource, that is the food, the basic requirement. Hence, agriculture is important to study. Now, agriculture gives us a natural resource. That means it is a natural resource, but it is fully developed by the human resource or the human beings. So it is a resource, natural resource, but developed by the human being. Let us move to the definition of agriculture. It says it is a science, an art of growing crops and rearing livestock. This small definition has many things inside. It is a science. As in the science, in the laboratory, we are able to prove with the perfect amount of inputs, processes, the result is guaranteed. Similarly, on the fields also, if we add those amount of quality seeds, amount of fertilizers, irrigation system if we provide, the crop, the yield is guaranteed. As the result is guaranteed, it is a science. Why it is an art? If you have seen the agricultural fields, you will find the artistic arrangement of all the crops. The farmer arrange everything beautifully and systematically. In this arrangement, the maximum output is guaranteed. Hence, agriculture is a science as well as it is an art. In India, agriculture was practiced with the help of livestock. Our farmer is using the livestock in order to till, plow and to do many actions. As a result, most of the farmers, they are also taking care or rearing the livestock at their homes. Hence, automatically, rearing of livestock also became the part of agriculture in India. As rearing of livestock is included in agriculture, it widens the scope of agriculture. We find that nowadays there are so many fields such as pisciculture, sericulture. These are so many places, so many actually cultures, they have been added in the agriculture nowadays. Poultries, dairy, they are also the part of the agriculture. So it is the rearing of livestock which has widened the scope of agriculture. So this is what is the agriculture. Let us move to its types. Now, because agriculture was invented, or you can say it was identified by our hunter-gatherers. Our hunter-gatherers, those who were earlier hunting and collecting the forest products, in that process itself, they have identified that there are few plants which are edible, they take some time to grow and all, and then they started learning agriculture. When they started agriculture, they started it with a very basic thing actually. They were using a very small plot of land. That too, they were residing in the forested region. Mostly these people were the tribal people. They were clearing a patch of land, they were taking the crops on that, and as a result, they started with a very small scale. So it was started only with the family's need. But if we see today the agriculture has become a very important commercial activity. So as there are so many changes in the agriculture, there are various types of agriculture also. Basically two types, subsistence farming and commercial farming. Subsistence, the name itself is very clear. When a farmer is growing for feeding or for feeding, of course, his family. That means to fulfill the requirement of his family. Whereas commercial farming, it means when the farmer is growing or cultivating in order to fulfill or in order to sell out those crops and earn the profit for a commercial purpose. So from subsistence to the commercial, all are in existence even today. The only thing, their degree or the amount varies. Now subsistence farming, the main characteristics that here the plot of land will be very small. And this plot of land they will cultivate with the natural use of the natural fertilizers, simple tools, family laborers likewise. They don't add much things in that. Whereas in commercial farming, it is on a large scale. So it requires machines, it requires fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides, it requires hired laborers also. So these two are further getting divided into these types. We have subsistence farming, in which the very first one, which I will read out from here, first one, primitive subsistence farming. Then we have the intensive subsistence farming. Now primitive subsistence, primitive, the earlier age. Early man, whichever type of agriculture they were following, that is primitive. And in that primitive we have slash and burn, which is also called as shifting cultivation. We have nomadic herding. We have intensive subsistence farming. This is today's formulation actually. It means subsistence farming is in existence today also, but then in an intensive form. It is a different form. This is a present form. Moving to the commercial farming, there are three types of commercial farming. It will be commercial grain farming. It means complete fields will be covering only one single crop. We will have mixed farming. Mixed farming, it means on such a large field, there will be variety of crops actually. And then the plantation. Plantation is totally different. It is growing plant. Like growing the rice, wheat, grains. These are grains, that is different, which we have to harvest every year and sow every year. But plant, once it is done, once it is sown, we can take the crop from that for another 2 to 5 years. It depends upon the variety of plantations. So we will study in detail about them now. First, primitive subsistence farming. The characteristics, small patch of land, family laborers, primitive tools. Then manual laborers will be there, dependent on natural rainfall, artificial fertilizers and technology they hardly used. The main type, slash and burn. Now slash and burn, here the region is covered with the forest. They will clear a small patch of land, and this patch of land they were using in order to cultivate for their own family. Nowadays also they cultivate, many tribal people and many areas we find, especially in the Madhya Pradesh forested region, Andaman and Nicobar forested region, northeastern states forested region. These are the places where slash and burn agriculture is till date actually practiced. We have another type, in this zooming. This is also called as, of course, zooming, and variety of names are there for slash and burn. And one important name is the zooming. Now zooming, that is known as in northeast, of course. In the worldwide also these are having different names. They are as it is given over here. They all are important for your 1 mark questions. Different names of slash and burn in the India. So in India also we have variety of names. We will be going through it. Another type of subsistence farming, nomadic herding. Nomadic herding, generally the tribal people, they were moving along with their livestock in order to feed their cattle population, and then they were settling down at one place in the monsoon, and likewise they were doing shifting cultivation also. So nomadic herding, where they sell out the milk, the skin, likewise. So depending upon their animals. So nomadic herding, this is also a type of agriculture but primitive. Now today also we have subsistence farming, but then the subsistence farming, that means the small plot of land we will be cultivating intensively. Now why intensively? Because the need is intense. The population is growing so fast. that the need is increasing, and in order to fulfill these needs, we have to grow the small plot of land intensively. Obviously, then farmer puts fertilizers and chemicals in order to get more and more crops, and this puts a lot of pressure on the land, and that actually degenerates the land. Here, intensive subsistence farming, the effect is that enormous pressure. Now, enormous pressure we will discuss that why the plot of land is small in India, or not only in India, today why the plot of land is small. So, one important reason of course is that the high population. Population is growing so fast that very less amount of land is left for cultivation. We have right of inheritance which is practiced in India. Because of right of inheritance, the father's land property will get equally divided into the sons, and that will be further divided into their sons. So finally, the land which is left out is so small and it is so uneconomical that it doesn't give much profit to that farmer. And then in order to get more and more profit, the farmer starts cultivating that particular land intensively, and in which there is enormous pressure. So this is one of the effect of the intensive subsistence farming. We have the next type, major type, commercial farming. Plot of land will be very large. Modern techniques, modern machines, chemicals, HYV seeds, green revolution type of package technology, they all are used. It is generally practiced by the people, those who are capitally strong. That means those who are having a good economic condition, capital intensive farming. In many of the commercial farming, it is labor intensive also. They hire the laborers. If you remember, you have studied one of the example of commercial farming in your 8th standard, that is the farm in USA. We have commercial grain farming. This we especially find in Punjab and all. So here one single grain crop will be grown on a large scale. And this kind of commercial grain farming we find that for rice in West Bengal, then wheat we find in Punjab and Haryana, and in Maharashtra on large scale we have the jawar. We have next, that is mixed farming. Now mixed farming, it means the plot of land with one ownership will be very large, but in that variety of crops will be taken. Food crops, fodder crops, oil seeds, floral crops, livestock rearing, many things can be there. This is called as crop diversification also. And here obviously the one particular place land is suitable only for few crops, but here they try to take almost many things. And hence they have to add lots of fertilizers and chemicals, which again is putting a lot of pressure on the land. We have a third type, that is plantation farming. Plantation, important feature of course, it is a highly capital intensive, because plantation is not only the primary activity involvement. Primary, it means where they grow the crops. Generally plantations, they have the secondary activity also present there, and even they are well connected with the tertiary activities. Like for example, tea gardens. Generally the companies, those who are selling the tea, they themselves are having their own tea gardens. So they are growing their tea. They are processing the tea in the tea gardens itself. It means they have the processing units also there. Plus from there they are sending it to their market. So it is actually an interface of primary, secondary and the tertiary. So it is a very highly capital intensive activity. We have few examples of plantation farming: tea plantation, coffee plantation, banana plantation, rubber plantations. So these are all commercial crops also. So this is how we have done the types of farming topic. Thank you.